Rory Jennings, he's not giving any love to Kai Havertz tonight. It's calling him an awful signing for Arsenal. Thinks they need a killer striker, and Arteta's a bit too safe. I think at the moment was essentially your point, wasn't it, Rory?
Well, completely. When did the standards at Arsenal drop so much that we're going to pretend that Kai Havertz is an excellent player? Like, you know, when I was a kid and Arsenal were winning doubles, they signed Dennis Bergkamp. That was an excellent player. They signed Mark Overmars. That was an excellent player. They signed Glenn Helder. It didn't work. It didn't work to what they wanted it to be, and they got rid of him. They didn't persevere with Glenn Helder and try and like redeploy him into something else. They just acknowledged that it didn't work and they moved on and signed someone better.
03717223344. Let's hear from the Arsenal boss, Mikel Arteta. He's been in charge for 5 years to the day, and he summed up those 5 years as the club's boss.
That I really enjoyed it, that it's gone really, really fast, that I'm really grateful to be in the position that I'm in right now, and that I have a lot to learn, a lot to improve, and the best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come. For you, it has to be sort of major silverware, 5 years' time.
Well, this is what we want, that to be the big trophies right now, without losing the rest of the things that we have built. That's very important as well.
Yeah, the big trophies, the Community Shield, the Emirates Cup, all of those. He's got to get those in, hasn't he? Intertoto Cup still about? Maybe win that.
Yeah, it was shoddy from him, Arteta.
A bit strange that. Let's speak to Amir, who's an Arsenal fan. He's called 03717223344. Amir, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, pal. Evening, gents. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. What are you making of Arteta? 5 years in charge. How much pressure is he under to win a trophy this season? How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, look, they're always difficult and great questions, but I think we've got to look at it in context. I think fans nowadays, if you don't get instant success, you're almost deemed a failure. And such is the world we live in, right? You've got even new managers have such a short tenure, and it makes it really difficult. But I think we've got to look at from where Arsenal were and what he came in and done. He turned. Look, I was a big fan, but there was a point where I didn't want to watch Arsenal anymore. I would have rather spent money on a golf membership than actually a season ticket. But he's turned that club genuinely around. I think if you look at player development, most players, he's actually gone and improved. Let's look at Granit Xhaka. He turned his career around at Arsenal. Martin Odegaard, I think Declan Rice. I think anyone who plays under Arteta will go on to become a much, much better player. And I think that's what he did with Havertz. And I think with Havertz, look, he lost at Chelsea, came to Arsenal, and, you know, he did find his mojo, and he's a good player. Is he world class? Well, that's probably debatable, and he's never going to be a prolific 25, 30 goal scorer. But I think if you looked at Bobby Firmino at Liverpool, right, you take him and put him in any other team, and I don't think he would have had that impact, but you've got to be supported by the players around him. Now, Saka did a lot. I tell you, probably the biggest disappointment is Martinelli. I think if Martinelli was contributing and even Trossard with more goals, and all of a sudden you've got a front three that isn't reliant on one individual, and I think the philosophy would have worked. And look, he's a great tactician. I thought the Arsenal job was too big for Arteta when he first got it, if I'm honest. I thought it was a little bit unfair from being an assistant to go and get a big job. But I think as Arsenal Football Club, look, we will never, and never had we had an history of buying ready-made world-class players. We would never be in the market for a Haaland or a Bellingham. We would have always gone for someone with either potential or let's call it a B-grade player. And that's the same with our managers, right? Even when we got Wenger, we plucked him from Japan. There was always a punt, and that, I think, will always be Arsenal. So I'm not that harsh. We finished runners-up to probably one of the greatest Premier League teams going, right? 2 seasons on a trot. That is immense progress. And you talk about Arne Slot, hasn't won anything. He's got off to a great start, but let's be honest, he inherited a very good team from Klopp.
The thing is, it's 5 years in the making, though, isn't it? It's all very well to talk about like inheriting a team, which of course did happen, but it's been 5 years in the making for Mikel Arteta, and I thought that was an excellent point there. Various excellent points, in fact, from Amir.
Yeah.
But I just think that he's getting that Kai Havertz one
I think it's
so
just
wrong. It's just so generous. Arsenal fans are so kind to Kai Havertz, partly because they need it to work.
I think you're being a bit harsh on it. He did have a really good end to last season.
No,
he did. He was good.
What do you mean really good? Like,
he was good. They went on an amazing run as well. You forget that. They didn't lose that league by much. It was that Aston Villa game. I'm talking about this.
No, they went on a run.
And Havertz was key to that. He was very good.
No, I mean, Ben White was as key to that as well. Ben White was probably their best player for the second part of last season. But we don't kind of talk about that.
But
we really flagged this Kai Havertz thing, don't we?
It's not an atrocious signing. That's
well,
ridiculous.
It's atrocious for what they need him to be. What Arsenal need Kai Havertz to be, he's a million miles away from. And if they had made the right signing in that position, they would have won a lot more silverware.
Masood is an Arsenal fan. Masood, Kai Havertz, you having him?
100%.
Of course.
Yeah, so Rory's completely wrong on this, is he?
Rory, I like you, mate. I'm an Arsenal fan. Obviously, you're a Chelsea fan. The thing is, Chelsea fans, you just need to get over it. Yeah, we took Kai Havertz. He's not world class, but he's decent. But he's just talking rubbish, absolute rubbish. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Why? Give us your defence of Kai Havertz, Masood.
Well, I mean, he's doing the job. Obviously, he's not going to score 20, 30 goals a season, yeah? But he's doing the job. But what Rory is saying is like he's terrible, he's this and that. I think he's just a bitter Chelsea fan, you know.
But Masood, okay, let's explore it. And don't get me wrong, I will put my cards on the table. I don't like Havertz and I don't want him to succeed at Arsenal. I'll be totally frank with you. Of course, as a former player that jumped ship, I refer to him now as Kai Iscariot. But let's be completely honest here. You're telling me that I'm wrong. What's he good at? What does he do for you that's so impressive? And why am I so wrong? How on earth has he come close to justifying a £70 million price tag?
Well, he's got loads of goals towards the end of last season. We literally lost one game from January. Come on, mate.
No. I mean, you did lose one game, but when you say loads of goals...
Enough. Yeah, obviously, we came very close, but we didn't win the league. But to keep going about Kai Havertz, it's just... You know what it is, yeah? A lot of rival fans, yeah? Arsenal, before Arteta, used to be the laughing stock. And everybody was having to go at Arsenal, and everybody enjoyed it. But then Arsenal started becoming really good, and they don't like it.
He's made you competitors again, hasn't he, Masood? That's the thing. He's made you competitive.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean. So rival fans now, like Chelsea fans and the rest, they're just trying to find little things.
Masood, I've got one question for you. If you signed a player to play in the number 9 that was better than Kai Havertz, do you think you would have won the league last year?
Probably, yeah.
Fine. Agreed. I think we're in agreement here. We're arguing over the semantics.
We're not in agreement that Kai Havertz is rubbish.
No, fine. Maybe the terminology, the terminology that I've used has irked you, but we both agree that Arsenal need a better. We both agree that Arsenal need a better.
Absolute world class. I would agree. But don't say he's rubbish because he's not rubbish.
Okay, you don't like the word rubbish, but he's rubbish for what you need him to be. On the scale of what you need him to be, you need him to be something, and he's a million miles away from that. So for what you need, he's rubbish.
Just to give him a bit of credit, he literally scored you the goal that won you the Champions League.
I know, that's completely true, but it's kind of irrelevant to this debate. It'd be like me saying
Arsenal that would score a goal that wins Arsenal the Champions League.
Well, we'll cross that imaginary bridge when we get to it, mate.
But
but that doesn't matter. I mean, Michy Batshuayi scored a goal that won us a league, and he was a woeful footballer as well. It doesn't mean just because you've scored a big goal in your career that you're an excellent player.
No, but when you say he's rubbish, that's just too hard.
Okay, but it's not a bias. Michy Batshuayi was rubbish, but he gave me one of the best moments of my life at the Hawthorns. Like, we won the league at the Hawthorns with the Batshuayi goal. He was a rubbish player. Kai Havertz scored one of the most iconic goals in my club's history, but I believe him to be a rubbish player.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to agree, but yeah, I love your YouTuber.
You're very kind. You're very kind, Masood. Merry Christmas,
Masood. Thanks very much indeed. That could have gone on all night. I don't think you'd have ever agreed.
We kind of did agree. Weirdly, we did agree, didn't you think? Because Masood basically conceded that he wasn't the player that they needed him to be. Masood just took issue with me saying that he was rubbish.
I think you made a good point earlier when you were talking about why they bought Kai Havertz. And again, you talked about this being potentially an error from Mikel Arteta, because I think when he was bought, we were expecting him to play in midfield.
It was a replacement for Granit Xhaka. It was a Granit Xhaka replacement,
yeah, exactly. And then he was put into that 10 role. I think you've been a bit harsh on his effectiveness in that role, because I think there have been spells and moments and bits of
Ollie, we're
bits
being
of
so
play for Kai
precious
Havertz where he has been good. I think you're being a bit unfair on him.
You know when I say that a player is rubbish, it's obviously on the scale of them being professional footballers and therefore brilliant. I'm just saying that for what Arsenal need, he's a million miles away from it. And therefore, you can define that as being rubbish. There is no way that Arsenal can win a league if they are relying on Kai Havertz to be their main provider and goalscorer.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.